Hey, Truth Seekers, it's Mar from the Messy Truths podcast. We've been off the air for a while, but now we're back, bringing you raw, real conversations that dive into the messy, yet beautiful parts of life. We may record remotely, but we're always on the same page when it comes to sharing our messy truth with you. If you enjoy the show, be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on all streaming platforms. Your support means the world to us as we get back into the groove. Thanks for being part of the mess. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Messy Truths podcast. We've been away for a minute, but this is Mar, and I'm recording live and direct from Montreal.
Yes, we're back. Your favorite middle child, Nesha J, from the lands of the Kanakahage, and going down south to my girl Oz.
It's Azar, and I'm here from New York City. I'm so excited to be reunited with you, my ladies, my soulmates, my spirit animals, my beauties. I've missed you so much. Now let's talk.
I love when you butter us up.
I know, right? Get us into the right mood.
It's great. All right, so we are back, and yes, unfortunately, we were away for a very, very long while. It was a minute since we recorded our last episode, but we're here. Don't worry about how much time has passed. We are back now. We're here. Exactly. We're showing up. And before we get into this episode, let me just ask you, ladies, how are you doing? Mental health check-in real quick.
Oh, God.
We're alive.
The world is a dumpster fire, but how are you doing?
I'm alive.
That's good. That's a very good thing.
I'm breathing. I'm alive.
That's great.
Yeah, we'll just keep it at that. I'm breathing. I'm alive. I've got a massage. So
okay,
I'm good.
How about you,
Oz?
You know, I'm grateful. I'm here, right? It is a dumpster fire. It's actually appalling, the state of the world at the moment. But, you know, I try to focus on the positives, on the good things that are happening in life. I am raising 3 beautiful, challenging children. And yet, you know, I guess I have a bit of a legacy, built-in legacy. So if nothing else works out for me, at least I got these 3.
I agree. And you have one for me and Mar.
I too am grateful. Grateful to be alive. Grateful, yes. Family as well. Grateful to be here with you ladies. So as much as the world is falling apart, this world is okay.
We're here.
This world is good. Yes. We're here. We're grateful to be here. All is well. Not really, but
Okay, but you can't say that and be like, okay, but it still sucks. No.
There's highs and lows and everything, right?
Agreed.
Okay, so we were away for a bit, and now we're back. I know it was a really long time since we recorded our last episode, but I had an opportunity to meet up with Nesha, and she revealed to me that she has had a spot reserved in her calendar to record the show every single month, and she never removed it. So this is the reason why I was like, okay, you've told me the day and the time of day, so let's try to record an episode. And here we are.
I'm committed, guys. I'm committed to a monthly basis moving forward if we can all agree.
It's true. It's always on my Monday calendar at 3:30 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it sits in my calendar, and people actually think I'm podcasting, but I'm probably really napping at that time.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I'm a busy person. I need to nap.
Yes, you do. You need a little rejuvenation. Yeah. I mean, you don't really, because you look fabulous, but
you look great.
Well, we all look fabulous, thank God, because
all right, so back to business here. This is episode 57, like I mentioned, and what we are discussing today is the subject of messy family drama. Everybody has it. Everybody has family drama. All it takes is like one crisis, a family member who's really abrasive, or just a bad life decision that impacts the entire family and has long-lasting effects. And before you know it, Christmas isn't the same, the family barbecue isn't the same. All of a sudden, you're getting like, left out of the group chat
Oh,
or put in a new group chat. I mean, it's pretty nasty stuff. And it could just be something as simple as sibling rivalries or maybe an issue between cousins. Who knows? But it's all quite messy, and we're here to discuss it. We're here to unpack it, and we're here to get into the messiness of family drama.
I feel
So,
are
tired.
we
This.
anecdotally going through this, or what are we doing,
Okay,
guys?
maybe we should start with how many siblings we all have because I'm rubbing my face because this is going to determine the level and the concentric circles of drama.
right.
And I
Well,
think I
well,
might have the most.
first of all, let's get into, certain let's get into recent family drama, like the fact that there's a lot of people who are going no contact with their family these days
Listen, I'm not
over
mad.
politics and
That's me.
a
I'm
bunch of
putting both
other
of my
things.
hands up.
Yeah, you're a no
I'm with
contact
it. Oh
person.
yes. Oh hell yes. I am like I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying to be reformed in these new episodes, but fuck them. That's it. Fuck them. Fuck them. Like the B word is
Okay.
real. Boundaries are real. I
Yep.
have I have like four levels of blended family. Like both of my parents remarried and came with their own tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And each tribe comes with their set of dramas. And I'm just like, no. I think I became a family of two with me and Mr. Z. I'm like, I'm good. And then let's not forget, Mr. Z has 8 siblings.
So, Nisha,
Mm.
wait. So, what you're saying is that your family drama stems from the families that married into your family. So,
No,
not direct.
no,
Oh, okay.
it's all the
Yeah, I was just
nucleus.
trying to
I'm Nova
clarify. Okay.
Scotian.
Mhm.
All dramas lead to it's cultural. It's cultural. It's cultural. It's lack of communication. It's silical, meaning like, it's generational differences. Like, perfect example is like when my mom passed and how I deal with grief, how my older relatives deal with grief, how my other siblings deal with grief, and the access to education. Um, like, yeah, zodiac signs, human design, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you have different people react differently to certain situations. People have different value systems, or people have different shades of the same value that you have. But when you get them together and something happens in crisis, people break out and they act wild. Like for me, it's been a boundary. Like I know recently my sister said to me, oh, there are older people in your family who are whispering about how you don't call anybody. I was like, good, and pass the message. I ain't calling nobody anyways. So keep enjoying that silence because,
I respect it. I
yeah,
respect it.
yeah, and
You're
yeah,
trying to maintain your peace. You pick and choose your battles. And I completely agree with you that part of it is an intergenerational conflict.
yeah,
You have people of from different generations coming together in one family. What, excuse me, what may have passed for boundaries 20 years ago is not quite the same today. So I feel you on that. And I too, like Mr. Z, I come from a large family. I'm the youngest of 6 children,
oof,
and all of my brothers and sisters are much older than me. And there's about maybe a 12 or 13-year age gap between myself and then the next sibling, which is the younger of my 2 brothers. So yeah, they themselves have had a whole lot of drama. I wouldn't say that has been as much of the case with me. And not that I haven't brought drama to the family.
fair,
I have brought it. I'm not going to be
fair,
blameless in this situation. But yeah, I think intergenerational conflict is a huge, huge factor
yeah.
in family drama.
But
I
Oz,
think
you're
to
a
add
two.
to that, I just have one sibling, but I think one of the biggest differences for us is that we are first generation, immigrants.
Immigrants,
So,
yep.
besides we do have a 6-year age gap, which is not enormous, but it's significant when you think about the time in our lives where we, migrated to Canada or migrated to Dubai even. So my brother, being 6 years older than me, had a very different experience than I did. And him also not
Fair.
necessarily growing up inside the household. He was in boarding school, then he went to college when we moved to Canada. So it's a very, both of us have very different experiences. And, as we are getting older and we're all pursuing our own mental health journeys, and whether that includes therapy or not, I think it's been an eye opening experience for me, considering I always thought that, oh, I came from a nuclear family and it was very healthy and loving. And then it's become very eye opening as I've learned to navigate my own issues or childhood traumas, that, yeah, no, it wasn't all rosy, right? Because even just leaving multiple countries and leaving your family and your language and
Hmm.
your people behind, it can be chaotic, and so that can create different types of tension. But Miranda, you mentioned that you brought a lot of drama to the family, and I think I've done the same, mainly because of those cultural differences, being the
Hmm.
youngest
Hmm.
and being, first generation outside of the culture
And
and
maybe
the
more than your
upbringing
brother, right?
cultures.
More first generation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, I'm the
Absolutely.
eldest. I'm the eldest. So I don't know about you youngsters because, yeah, my younger siblings, I'm like, oh, I can't. I really can't. I
I think
can't.
that's how my brother feels about me. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think the oldest we have the like in some ways are the 2.0 of their parents. Like we're the mix between
mm,
whatever that generation of your parents is, but the new generation. So although one of my parents is the immigrant, my mom, it's still a cultural difference in the
Hmm.
sense that
sure.
I grew up in Quebec, she grew up in Nova Scotia, my dad grew up in Guyana, and now, his daughter, his firstborn, is growing up in Canada. So I feel like in some ways I have a lot of pressure to carry the legacy, but my siblings don't have that. They just fucking wild. Like it
See,
annoys the shit out of me.
I appreciate your perspective, but who put that pressure on you?
Not me. That's my
Mm,
mom and dad.
but see, that's the other thing that that I feel like we've come to realize, and this is where the family drama kind of goes left, is because who's taking accountability? Like, we're all individuals. Why are you responsible for being the legacy? Is that a
Hmm.
choice that you're making? Is that a choice is that a decision that you accepted? Why should I have to accept that? So those are, I think that's where we see a lot of problems starting, because we have such a different point of view from, like, expectations wise, right?
But I
Like,
Hmm.
I
your
yeah,
standard, why does that have to be my standard?
I feel like when you're younger though, you have more opportunity to explore that because the older or the eldest person made room for you to explore that. That's how I feel about it. Like when I think about my brothers and my siblings, like yeah, I don't know if I actually accepted the position that my parents put on me. I think now as I'm going into my 50s and with the passing of my mom, I'm in the era where I define myself. And this is what my family considers drama right now. They consider it dramatic. The fact that I don't engage with the family, I don't want to spend Christmas, I don't want to do Easter, I don't want to do anything. They consider that family drama. But up
Because you're
until,
withdrawing and you're not.
yeah,
I think that's a huge issue. Is that this is one of the things when I was writing down notes and whatnot. There's this expectation that you're going to be that your
yeah,
family members are expecting you to be the same person throughout the entire transition of the family life, and that obviously is the most unrealistic thing ever. Like no person is supposed to be the same. You are
yeah,
supposed to evolve, you are supposed to change, you are supposed to grow and go through transformation. That is a normal process in life. And so if there's expectations of you when you were younger, no one should be able to expect that those expectations should be the same. Like you're not the same person you were
absolutely. You
10,
change.
15, 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
I mean, you change when you had your first child, right, Oz, and to your second
Oh,
child, to your third, right? You're like the second child, who we adore all your children, but I have a special thing, a singing thing with your second child. But when the second child was born, you're like, okay, I know this. Like, I know not to run, and I know I don't need this, right? There's something that evolves in the parenting as you have children, and each child is different, and you learn that. But it's not like when you had your firstborn, right? So
No,
you have to
absolutely not.
change.
Yes.
And I
We
think,
all change.
yeah, we all change. I think for me, Mar, you make sense. Like for myself, there was an end of an era when my mom passed. My mom, I think,
Mm-hmm.
I love her, but I think she puppeteered. Like she was very clear on what her expectations were for me, and I answer solely to her. But when you remove that authority, and my mother was authoritarian, and that's who she was, now I don't answer to nobody. I mean, nobody. Mr. Z is lucky if he gets updates, and that's because I choose to update. My
Mhm.
mother, there wasn't a choice. It was, I'm going to find you, so it's better that you update me before I find you. But with my other half, it's I don't yeah, I it's a choice I make versus where my mother, it was like that was an expectation, and that was actually what she had created Oz from the jump. Like
Mhm.
your child is an X, I need to know where X is. But I think my family expected me to maintain in that way. Like always involved. And now the big thing, the drama is that I don't answer to nobody. Like they make these comments like we can't rein her in. Bro, what am I doing? Like, am I out there down the pole? And if you want to be down the pole, great. But you make it sound like I've done something that's so egregious. No, I've made a decision that for the next half of my life, I live by my own rules. What's best
Mm-hmm.
for me? And, I think my mother and my experiences have given me enough common sense to decide what's best for me and what's not. And if I make the mistakes, I make the mistakes. But I think that's part of family drama. It's an element of control. When people can't control you and be what
Mm-hmm.
they think you should be, this is what causes drama as well. And I think for my family, I'm the eldest. There's an expectation to carry into my mother's role. I ain't fucking doing it. Peace. My sister, my younger sister does it. Good for her. I ain't doing it. So I think that is the current family drama, that the better drama that we can talk about on air is that they want they want to control the access to me, and I won't do it. Unequivocally will not do it. I live for myself. I answer for myself. It's a weird feeling, and both of you know this. It's a weird feeling when your parents are no longer with you and you do not answer to nobody now. Like
Yeah.
everybody you answer to, it is a choice. It's not an expectation anymore. And yeah, I answer to myself. So too bad.
I think that's been a learning curve for me, right? Because granted, my parents are not here, but I still felt a world of expectation. Like just ideas of who I was supposed to be, what I should have accomplished at this point. And the beauty about approaching your 50s, I think, is that you just don't give a fuck. Like, I am at a space in my life and I love it here. I wish I had always had this confidence and this feeling of self awareness and the ability to really not let other people's opinions impact me, and in a way, that has also given me a new outlook on the people whose opinions I cared about. Because now I look at them very differently because that's very judgmental, right? For them to have always perceived me a certain way or have pushed their will or their expectations onto me, and I feel like I have never been that person. So it's a freeing feeling to not allow that judgment to weigh on me or make me rethink my life choices or regret or feel like a failure. Those are real things that we carry with us. And when we talk about change, we have to consider the dynamics in our lives too. I mean, you guys are both married, right? So now you're no longer just Nisha or Miranda. You have partners that are a part of your lives. I have children that are a part of my life. And that always is going to take priority to the
Mm,
relationships that you had with your family growing up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But there's other types of dramas, right, Mar? Like, Man, my siblings be bringing some shit to my door like they're cats and they caught mouses. I'm like, I don't want this drama. I don't want your cat. Like,
I
you
think
know
one
where
of,
the,
I think one
oh,
of the biggest I think one of the messiest forms is when you do bring a partner into the family
oh
and
God.
that partner is not well loved by the rest of the
Oof.
family.
That
It
is
can get
rough.
really, really, yeah, because the thing is, I think it comes to, I've seen it happen so many times. Like, speaking from the Caribbean family perspective, one of the biggest, some of the biggest forms of drama come in the form of marrying somebody for their papers and not for
Hmm.
love. Marrying someone who is, and I really would, I it's interesting. I got into this discussion the other day with someone, but it's when you're marrying someone of the same race, but of a different ethnicity, different nationality or culture.
Welcome to my world.
Sometimes that can be even more dramatic than marrying someone outside of your race.
Yeah, welcome to my world. I mean, Oz, how was it for you? How did your parents or family react when you married someone outside? Was it an issue? Was it like, whatever, I'm good?
No, to be honest, although I have a lot of extended family, we were very close knit, just in terms of my immediate family. Of course, my aunts and uncles, but very, just the ones that were very close to us growing up. And fortunately, I did not face any kind of resistance, and we were always very open and not discriminating. I guess also that had to do with the fact that we were not like, like practicing Muslims. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Because if we had a little bit more of a strict household, I could imagine that that would be a little bit more impactful.
Mm.
But having been more of a liberal, progressive kind of family, I never faced those issues. And even my brother, right? He's married to a Filipina woman, and it's always been very accepting in my
I think
family.
we can testify to that. We've been to your house, we've eaten the food. They love us. So we're good to go. What about you, Mar?
There wasn't really any issue for me. I have the younger of my two brothers was the one who initially broke that barrier for all of us years ago.
Mm, mm,
His first wife was of Lebanese background, but they were Canadian, like she's Canadian. And
mm,
I think
mm,
it's common among, immigrant families that your youngest children or your children who've spent the majority of their lives in a foreign country or a Western, society are not going to grow up with these same expectations or values that you have. Like, you just have to
mm,
accept that
mm.
your those kids are going to do whatever the hell they want, and it's not really up to you to make those decisions for them. You could have disagreements about it, no problem, but it is what it is. It's, and
Yeah.
you'll really be tested when the grandchildren come
Oh,
along,
Jesus.
because when they do, you have to decide, like, do you want to stand in your ignorance? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't have any children, as you know, but I was fortunate that I did not have any sort of barriers. I'm sure there was a lot of gossip from cousins in the family and everyone kind of talking and whatnot, but there was never this, oh, what are you doing? You shouldn't be with this person,
Mm, mm,
thing.
mm.
Although I will say, I probably shouldn't say this live, but
You can cut it out.
my oldest brother, he had a problem with my other brother when he was married initially to his Lebanese wife. And because of that experience and because of that sort of conflict, I decided that I wasn't going to really involve him in my
Mm,
life with my husband. And
mm,
that
mm,
actually
mm,
hurt
mm,
him.
mm.
I didn't realize it until much later,
Mm,
and he expressed that he was really upset about that he wasn't, formally introduced when everyone else was, and all these other things. And I guess it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that we have this expectation that another person is going to be the same their entire lives, when we really shouldn't, that there's going to be transformation and life will give them some a variety of different situations and will make them grow and change. And I actually thought that about my brother. I thought that, oh, he's
Mm.
gonna be the same old person that he always was, and he isn't. He's been through some things. He's, gone through some life changes, and I should have reached out to him earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nisha, you did ask me about marriage, but the one thing that did come up was the fact that I had a child out of marriage. So,
You mean in the recent times?
yes, so I have two kids that, I had during my marriage, and then I have my youngest who was, not born, what do they call it? Born out of wedlock? What do they
Who
call it?
cares? That archaic
I don't
shit.
wedlock,
We love
but
Yes.
him.
either way, you're in a
Yeah.
blended family now.
Yeah. So at that point, that's when there was a lot of
Mm. Okay.
chatter, and not from my father was the only one who was around at that point, but yeah, I got a
A little
little,
side eye, little taste
yes,
of.
a little talking to,
Judgment.
even.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you forget that. It's kind of like, at the time, I don't think I was, I mean, I think I pushed back a little bit, but I wasn't, definitely not in this era, in my, well, you can go fuck yourself era, but I
Hmm.
I'm not going to forget who
Mm.
said something to me at
Yeah.
that time. So, yep, it
It's
happens.
interesting because Z and I have same race, but we got pushed back for many different reasons. To be very fair to my family, like I think if you listeners, if you remember, if you're a new listener, we were going to Oz's baby shower, and I said to Miranda, "Oh yeah, I'm getting married, and I'm going to get the dress this weekend in New York." And Miranda and Oz were like, "What the fuck, Nisha?" Like, what the fuck?
Like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. I mean,
You should have seen
thankfully
my face
we
when I was in that hotel
yeah,
room
because
with
we were staying in the same hotel room, and she was like, "Okay, but we're gonna tell Oz,
what?
right?" And then Oz was like, "What?" But we love Mr. Z. He's great.
We
But I
love you,
will tell
Susie.
you, when
Wonderful,
I did
wonderful, Mr. Z.
introduce, when I did introduce him to oh God, my family. Okay, so like a little bit of background for listeners, we are like native Black Canadians, right? So we're like Nova Scotians, 10, 11 generations Canadian, and my husband is Ghanaian who grew up in Japan. So it's like my family did not hear I grew up in Japan. All they heard was Ghana. It skipped right to Dr. Phil, to scam artists. Like it was crazy. It
Oh
jumped,
no, the
right?
stereotypical,
By the
like, all
way,
the tropes about
exactly.
Mexicans. Yeah,
First
Caribbean
of
people
all,
used to do the exact same
exactly.
thing.
And
To
Ghana
the,
is not Nigeria, FYI. So
yep,
Dr. Phil put Nigerians on, not
multiple
Ghanaians.
countries in the continent.
Yes. So I remember I had to do a little test, right? I'll never forget. It was Easter weekend, and Z and I had already gotten engaged secretly. And I had to take him home to my Nova Scotian mother. And what I was checking is if he could hold his own. I was checking. That's very important. If you're going to marry a Nova Scotian woman, you got to be able to hold your own as the partner. Otherwise, you're toast, and the family will eat you and spit you up, and that will be the end of it.
That is a wild ass test. Let me
It
just say that.
is.
What?
But he managed. He was like, and then my mother was so suspicious. We were in Alexis Neon in Atwater, and she put me in the corner where Tim Hortons used to be and said, "Are you married? Are you pregnant? No.
Oh, that's
Is he
hilarious.
paying you? No. Does he need his papers? No.
The
So what's
papers,
going on
always
here?"
the
Yo,
papers.
listen, she gave
Award
me a
winning.
grilling for
Oh,
3 hours in Alexis Neon. And I said to her, "Listen, Mom, I got 3 degrees. I'm self sufficient. I've never made a mistake in your perspective in my life. If I'm going to make the mistake, have my back, let me make it. The worst case scenario, we get divorced." Mind you, I have been watching like My Killer, My Lover on Netflix, so there could have been other consequences. But I said to her, like, I've never stepped out of your life plan for me. So I'm doing this. And then she was like, okay, she's doing it. And then she was fully on board. One of my besties, you know them, you know him, Philip. came to my house, sat in the chair, 3 hours, zip. So what are we doing? Like, why?
But you
Full
know what?
on
I think that's
escalate.
awesome. I think that your friends, your brothers,
So
they
you two are
came to
my friends. You
you.
didn't give me press court.
Yeah, but your brothers are your brothers,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah. Fine.
they came to you. They're not your biological brothers,
Oh, they're
obviously.
my
They're like
brothers.
your brothers, but they came to you and they wanted to know if you were making the right decision, you know? But
But
I
I feel
so
like what Oz said. I trust my decision at that time. I'm
yeah.
41. Yeah. I will say though, when I met Mr. Z's family, you can see the cultural difference. It's very evident. Like
Hmm.
my father-in-law had four wives at one point. I was like, God damn, like that's hard work.
Hmm.
I remember when we were getting married and Oz and I come from Muslim backgrounds. I was like, homie, one wife only, eh? Don't even ask. It's like,
Hmm.
don't even ask because you ain't getting no permission for no second wife. I will cut a bitch. Don't ask. And he was like, I could barely handle you. Why am I getting two?
It's a full-time
But
job.
it is. That's a hard job you got. But I get you, Mar. Like I have some cousins that I'm like, why do we talk about condoms if you don't use them?
Oh God.
No, I have to ask this question. Public service announcement. Condoms have been existing for over 30 plus years. We still doing this pull out method shit. This shit doesn't work. It's
Not
like
work.
a 1 to 12% efficiency, and you still out here saying, well, let me just put the head in. Come on, people. Come on. Come
Just the tip.
on.
Just
Dip. Like you remember those candies, those fun dips we used to use?
Oh
You dip
God.
it in the powder? Homie, it only
Listen,
takes one sperm to come out and then
let
you're
me
done. Ah,
on that subject, let me just say that anytime an older sibling does something that's really ratchet or really terrible, the younger ones always bear the brunt of it all the time.
wait.
It's
you have
How?
to
like
give it,
Why?
yeah, you have to, I know what she means, but you have to give an example.
it's like as if there's this for example, when I was younger, right, I used to get a lot of pressure to do things differently or make different decisions because the adults in the family didn't agree with what some of my older adult sisters and brothers were doing. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, that's them.
What that got to do with me?
I'm me.
Right.
That has nothing to do with me. Like, that's their life. Let them be.
And let me be.
So yeah, but they really just like banged on about it repeatedly in my life, and it was just like, get out of here, leave me alone.
And it
Like,
becomes like an urban legend. Like, do you remember so and so when so and so did this? This is what happened. You can't
oh
be
my
like this.
gosh.
Oh, God.
I could go on and on about so many crazy things that I've heard about in my own family and that I've seen, like when you have two relatives dating the same guy, or one claims that the other stole the other
Oh,
one from them. And it's just like, oh
Exactly. That's
God,
a daily
please.
basis in our family, hence why
That's
the
crazy.
boundaries.
All right, so other causes of family drama. What about communication breakdowns, disrespect, unwillingness to acknowledge some hard truths? Any of those? Secrets being revealed? Nisha,
oh,
you're
lost.
muted. We can't hear you.
So,
Because I got mad. Go ahead,
oh,
Oz.
no, I just no. The only thing I want to say is therapy, 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 therapy.
Spell it,
Like
Oz. Spell it.
I cannot tell you how frustrated I get with adults who do not seek therapy.
Agreed.
Like it is a basic, fundamental necessity in our lives. I don't care where you come from. And it
Hmm.
sucks, right, that it's not accessible to everyone. And I'll be the first to admit that, yes, it is a privilege to be able to access therapy.
Hmm.
But, there's self-development books, there's
Thank
self-help
you.
books, there's other ways where you can approach and
Google.
take accountability and ownership of your behavior, of your actions, of your
Hmm.
communication style. I mean, at this point in my life, it is no longer acceptable to deal with adults that act like children. I'm done.
Agreed.
Not doing
No
it.
man child.
Not
To be
participating.
fair, I want to just like gender diversify your advice, because we know that therapy is rooted in a lot of female gender based techniques, right? So for men, for example, you need to find a men's circle or other ways for your outlet to have these conversations, whatever disguise you want to call it, your form of talk therapy. I know in Montreal, there's a lot of men's circles going around where men are getting together, regrounded, having that conversation, learning how to be vulnerable and not effeminating vulnerability, that it's just a female quality to be vulnerable, right? Like you have to, there's something about that concept of yings and yangs, because there are many genders, about how to find your center point. And actually, for some women, maybe, talk therapy isn't for you either. And it's about finding the right person. But I agree wholeheartedly. Like, lack of self awareness and the inability to do something different is fucking madness. My nephew and I were talking. He's 19. He said to me, Auntie, sometimes my parents are straight out crazy. I said, That's not very nice. He said, he said, Bro, if they do the same thing and expect something different, Auntie, that's literally the definition of stupidity and madness.
Insanity.
That's my 19-year-old nephew telling me this, right? About his
He's
grown
been
ass.
through some. He knows. He knows.
Yeah. So, him and I had a real breakthrough moment. I'm very thankful. He got a little bit out of his pram a couple months ago and he talked to me like, I don't know what he thought I was on the street, but he talked to me that way. And luckily, like you said, Oz, because I do therapy, because I'm self aware, because I responsibilize myself, instead of me going into what I was going to go into was, who the fuck are you talking to? Which is my
Hmm.
natural built-in raised response. The fuck are you talking? Even sometimes when I look at the kids, like, are you talking to me? Because we will fight. I
Mhm.
calmed down. I love this person. I want to show him differently. I said to him, Why do you feel the need to speak to me that way?
Mhm.
He took a moment, he paused, and he's like, I think that's all I know. I said, But that's not all you know. When I speak to you, we speak very respectfully to each other, very loving to each other. Why isn't that your narrative? And he's like, Yeah, I never thought about that, right? And that opportunity with him enabled us to get so much closer than we already were, because I said to him, You are not the sum total of what you see and witness. You can make different choices. You have your uncle and I, we're different choices. And I think that really has made an impact on his choices lately. And he's just like, I don't want to engage in this madness. And I'm
Yeah.
happy because he's 19 and I want him to get it
Congratulations
early.
to him, because I think that's
Yeah,
absolutely amazing that
I don't
he
want
had
him
come to
dating
that
women
understanding
and
about himself. Yeah. And
yeah,
he's
I don't want
choosing
him
someone like
dating.
you to speak to about it. I mean, can you ladies think of any other advice or key strategies for the listeners about how to manage the family drama?
Yeah, I think what Nisha just did, which was she modeled emotional regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she did not engage in the rage baiting. She did not engage in an emotional response. And I think that fuels the family drama, right? So, like, and you're
Yeah.
triggered. So, I know, I understand. I understand that it can be very triggering and it can be very familiar to
Mm,
participate and to respond, the way that you're used to responding to your family because that's all you know, that's all you've been doing for years. And especially when they're the ones starting and initiating the drama,
yeah.
and you just, that's all you know, right? That's how you feel, that's all you know. But you can be the change. And that's where you first model the appropriate behavior and second really put your boundaries down, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
where you really can set your boundaries of what behavior you're going to continue to accept and what behavior you're not going to accept. And that's all with love. Boundaries don't take away love. I think they actually probably propel more love because you're once again showing somebody how to treat you well and that you're open to how they want to be treated well too, right? So if you're setting a boundary, you also have to be accepting of other people's boundaries. So I
Mm-hmm.
think in modeling, that's the best way to handle it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of like self uh just restraint,
Awareness. Yeah.
right? To like not immediately jump to that place that you're used to, that you were brought up
Yeah.
in, and to show
Yeah.
that this can be a healthier way.
Hmm.
And to be fair, I think just to give yourself some grace, like 2 Christmas ago, my husband grabbed me by the mouth and dragged me out of my brother's house because my younger brother had triggered me. I have four brothers, but the youngest of the brothers really triggered the fuck out of me. And Mr. Z was like, "That is not my wife. I am not going to let her continue down this road." And he literally, physically, and both of you know Z, he's not that type of dude, but he literally grabbed me by my mouth. And I was angry and ready for the venom to come and decimate the person, my
I'm gonna
brother.
bleep that part out.
What, which part? Decimate? No, you
No,
leave
the
it.
grabbing.
It honestly,
We understand this, but other
no,
people might
honestly,
not
it was
understand that.
okay. I'm gonna say that it was okay that he grabbed me because my temper had reached a level where he had never seen me that upset. That's how,
Hmm.
yeah, like Oz, when you say like it's familiar. To be fair, he was triggering me around my mother's death. He was saying shit, and that is my like nuclear button. It is a
Hmm.
nuclear button for me. Like even if Mr. Z says one thing, I say to him, tread very lightly because if my mother's name come out of your mouth, I'm punching in your mouth. Like it's a trigger. It's a trigger. I'm not at the point where I'm kumbaya when it comes to my mother. I'm fiercely protective. And my brother said something to me like, "Oh, I think mom should have gave the money." I said to him, "Bro, she died for you to get that money. Like, what kind of shit is coming out your mouth?" And he was egging me. And my other brother, who's older than the younger, was like, "Leave her alone, leave her alone, leave her alone." And he
He
kept
was
egging
warned.
and
He was
egging.
warned.
And
Poking the
when
bear.
Mr. Z saw, it's like I lunged
Hmm.
and he grabbed me and he was like, "I'm taking my wife outside."
Yeah.
And that to me is a good husband because if he had sat by and watched me unravel, it's not a great thing. He put me in the car and he's like, "So do you want to fight with me?" Like he really found a way of calming me down
Oh.
because I was on fire. Like I was
Hmm.
going to blaze. I haven't talked to that brother since
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
because for me, if you can get me to that level where I'm going to lunge and rip your face off, I cannot deal with what you've got to say. And like, there's a whole other reasons behind that story. I wish him well. Mr. Z has made little hints like, I think you should reconcile. He gets the death stare and he leaves it alone because I'm not ready. I'm
Hmm.
not ready.
Yeah, I
Right?
think
I'm
I
not
think that's
ready.
it. That's a big point is forcing people to reconcile or forgive before they're even ready. It's like, what's the point? Then
Yeah.
it's just completely false. Like you're not being your most authentic self. Yes, at some point you do want to get over it, so or get over a
Maybe.
situation that so that not necessarily for the other person, but for yourself, so it doesn't like, destroy your own nervous system,
Mm,
but you want to get to the point where there can be some form of, peace for yourself, not for the other person, just for
mm,
yourself, because you should not let something like that destroy you. And I'm a big believer when it comes to like keys and strategies. I'm a big believer in setting boundaries, and as you all know, as I've mentioned before on this
mm.
podcast, I am great at purging people out of my life and keeping my distance and
The
not
purge.
saying anything to anyone, and also
That's
being
it.
able to pop back up in a few years and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" I
Yeah.
kind of feel as though that's a healthy way of dealing with things rather than constantly being engrossed and engaged in the drama.
Yeah.
Because if I know that you are a person who likes to bait me, if I know that you're a person who likes to provoke and constantly talk about the past and all the, things that bother me without really knowing who I am today, and I haven't spoken to you in like 10 years, sorry, like I
No.
can't roll with you
Get
because
rocked.
you are still in the same mental space that you were during that time. What has changed? And I actually said
Absolutely.
this as well, I had this conversation with my own therapist once where we were talking about, who I maintain relationships now within my own family. I said, oh, all my immediate family, we're cool, we're great, still love them. Sure, there's conflict here and there, but I don't care. I mean, I love them. Nothing is bad enough that I'm going to cut off communication. But for people who have hurt me, people who come from families that have hurt me or hurt my other family members, um,
Cut
unless I
off.
know unless I know that you have gone through some sort of transformation in your own way, you've gotten some help, you've talked to a therapist, you have, done a little bit of the emotional work for yourself. I can't see myself forming or reconciling, having any kind of relationship with the other person when you haven't done the work. It
Yeah,
can't just be
cut
me.
off.
You gotta do the work too.
I agree.
Otherwise, I'm just back in the same place where we were before. And I don't want those kinds of relationships moving forward, especially as I get older. Like, I just want peace and quiet. That is a love language for me. Peace
I,
and
I
quiet.
do I do admire Oz's forgiving nature though, but let a bitch cause Ozzy or you. They fucking cut off. Like off. Off.
But
That's
hold
it.
on. I could be forgiving to a certain extent. However, I again, new era. Actually, no, I think I've been like this for a while now. I'm fine with cutting off relatives that are pieces of shit. I mean, when
Mm,
you are just a piece of shit, and I mean entirely just as a person, a rotten human being, I don't care that we are blood relatives, you know? I actually have a cousin who's completely related to me. And I haven't spoken to him in years, and I will never speak to him. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Ever. There will never be a moment where I will speak to him. And it's well known, and there are
it is
certain
what it
lines
is.
that are going to be crossed that you can't come back from. I don't
Hmm.
I
care if
agree.
it's, you know,
Same.
And
non-negotiables. That's it.
exactly. Going back to like the advice, for me, my personality, I have to be okay before I can talk to you. That's
Yep.
very clear for me. Like, I have other friends who I consider like, I think sometimes we meet friends who are different versions of your original friend. I know that's a whole podcast in itself, but I tend to meet versions of like Ozzy or Miranda or other people I know, like different versions of them. And for my personality, because I'm so loyal and things hurt me very deeply, I need to be okay. And it takes
Hmm.
me a very long time to get there. I think I was sharing that with
Same.
Mara, right? I'm not a person who can ever go back to the original of what we were because I'm never going to fuck with you like that again.
Yeah.
It's such a bad trait of mine. I was
Yeah.
talking to my therapist about it. I start with 100% like loyalty. We're cool. We're down. I'm with it. But if I show you a vulnerability, which is a gift, I've realized it's a gift for me to show vulnerability, and you betray me, yeah, we're never going back. We're never going back. And I've talked to the therapist about this. I've asked her, like, yo, and she's like, that's just you. It hurts too much, and I can never trust you again.
Yeah.
And because I
I'm with
can never
I'm with you
trust
on
you
that.
again, nah,
I'm
you
I'm with
out.
you on
We
that.
can
And
be
let me just
cool.
say that it's not that I'm not forgiving. I forgive a lot. I let a lot of stuff slide. If you
Fair.
want to, tie it to, astrological signs and all that other crap, the Libras are known for this, where we just keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving, over and over again until that one time where you really cross the line. And then that's it,
I'm
bro.
out.
We're done. And also we have to also make it very clear that you can forgive someone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to engage with them. You can
Yeah.
maintain the distance and not necessarily have to have a relationship with them. That's
Yeah.
perfectly fine too. And I do that a lot. I just,
Yeah.
until I see proof that there is change, is going to be really difficult for me to welcome you back into my life. It's hard. It's really hard.
But I am getting a little Aussie in me. I am getting a little bit better. I am considering circumstances and people who hurt people. I am
Yeah.
considering that. I am. But there's a part of me that's it's yeah, it's vulnerability is a very high price. It's a
Mm-hmm.
gift that I give. And when I'm hurt, yeah, it's not good. Because
Mm-hmm.
either I'm going to blaze the earth or you're never going to hear from me again. And it's best that you don't hear from me again because I know I have that nasty go for the jugular, rip your face off, like not even curse you. It's that's the worst. It's the worst part of me. It's not like fuck you, you're a bitch. Because my brain works in this clever way, I will find every weak point you have and be like, you no good, jobless motherfucker. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's grimy and deep. And so I
Yeah.
don't like that person come out. And so I don't engage. It's actually a really technique of mine. In family drama, when my brothers pick at me, there's a part of me that wants to be, you fucking loser. You 9 to 5 warehouse motherfucker
Oh
loser.
God.
That's
Oh
what I mean.
no.
I get really deep. It's not
I
even
get
the
vicious
insults.
too. My tongue
Exactly.
is
So I
vicious.
try to be like,
Oh.
oof, don't let that come out, Niche. Don't let that come out. Because that's the best of my mother's anger. No, no, no. That's the worst. And my mother was like this. She could able to look at you, zone you in, and rip you apart for the things that you are so insecure about. And as much as I'm like, okay, that's good for her, I don't necessarily praise it as a gift, but I have that anger level. I do. So
So what happens
yeah.
when nothing changes?
What do you mean by that though? Like the person's still acting crazy?
You could have a conversation with the person. You could have tried to resolve the family drama in your life, and you think that there is room to move forward. And then all of a sudden, it's like you get back to the family gathering, and then the same sort of stupid behavior and shenanigans takes place. What do
I
you
think you have
do
to make a
when
decision.
things don't change?
I think you have to make it. I think there's a couple things. We have a big family on our side. I think you have to make a decision like how much interaction you want, limitation of that interaction, or if you want to deal with it at all. Like I think sometimes when I do go to the odd family event, Mr. Z will say, "Babe, we got an hour or two, and then we out." Because they stay popping bottles. Liquor will cause family drama,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
yes.
good
Right?
Lord.
So if
That's
we
how you
see us,
find out that the father of the child is not really
is
the
not
father of the child. I'm like,
exactly,
ah!
or you find out that your cousins are dating the same guy and one is the baby. I'm like,
Oh,
bro. So when I go, Mr. Z looks at me and he's like, "You have a time." Because the moment they start passing
the
the
liquor around,
Courvoisier,
yeah.
he's like, "Hey,"
Time to
taps
go.
his watch. The moment he smells little Mary Jane in the air, he taps his watch at me. We gotta go. And then you hear about who got into whose fight, whatever, whatever. I
Oh
think,
no.
yeah, I don't know.
I
But
think
I,
that's a really good thing about Mr. Z is he knows what his level of partying is. There are some people that need to take it to like out of 10, they need to take it to 15, and he's just like, no, just keep it tame. He's like, I'm good at a good 6.
yeah,
A good 6. It doesn't need to go any further than that. Yeah.
yeah, no, no, no. He gives me a time frame. I'm having much
Hmm.
time. We can, but then again, he now has become the person who's like, oh, don't you want to go? I'm like, no, because I'm not
Change,
ready.
growth. Yeah. I was going to say if things don't change, then you don't change. That's it. Just continue to keep maintaining those boundaries. I think boundaries are a beautiful thing.
I agree.
Absolutely beautiful. I do believe in allowing extending grace to a person to grow, but if they're not there yet, they're not there yet. And you can't will that to happen. That's not your job either. So you just got to know when to pick and choose your battles and when to walk away. And that's what you may have to do. You just may have to walk away again for another 10 years
And
and
that's
accept
it.
that that is how that person is going to be. But there's also therapy and family counseling. And hey, I read this wonderful book. I think you might like it. There's also that too. You know, sharing your resources with other members of the family is also quite helpful too.
What about you, Oz?
In terms of,
Like, how,
If
like
things do not
are
change, if the
not
family
change.
drama is not
Yeah.
getting
Like
resolved by
maintaining
any
the same
means.
ish.
no, I'm out. I'm out.
Oz, doofus.
Listen, let me tell you
Doofus.
something. It's actually very easy for me to cut people off. I do it for a living.
I don't want to
But
be a part of that experience. Thank you.
I but when I cut someone off, the beauty of it is I don't dwell. I'm blessed.
Okay.
I really am, because it's pointless to cut someone off and still think about that person and still have ill feelings towards that person, because
Mm-hmm.
that stress is still in your life whether that person is in your life or not.
Yeah.
So to me, if it's not working, if I've expressed my boundaries, if I've tried to communicate and my communication, you know, backfires, it's just there's no other words or expressions that I can share, and it's just not getting there, then okay, then we no longer need to be in each
Mm-hmm.
other's lives, and that's fine. And I will walk away with full peace and tranquility from a situation like that.
I
Now,
admire that.
but I wasn't always like that. Again, therapy, learning your own worth and your own value is the main source of strength and will
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to make decisions like that are better for you. Listen, our lives are so short.
Fair.
They're so
Mm-hmm.
precious. Peace is not the easiest thing to have because the world will rock you. People will disappoint you. Life is hard. And when you have the agency to make decisions that will make your limited time on this earth better, why do we have another option?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
And that becomes even more crucial. It becomes even more crucial as you get older. Like, you know,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
I am as I too am heading towards 50 years of age, it is we've got a while before that happens, but it is, you know, it makes you realize how finite things are,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
you don't really have a whole lot of time to be wasting on individuals that don't really add a whole lot of value to your life or whose lives you're not adding a lot of value to in any way. So there's no point. Like, there's no point. But if you do see there's a hint of progress, a hint of self awareness coming through, that's where you can entertain things. And I am all for reconciliation if you see evidence of change
Mm.
happening on the other person's side.
I
Because
really
life is
admire
too
that.
short to be
Yeah.
quarreling with people all the time. You know what I mean? Just move on.
I
Yeah.
really admire that about both of you because I'm a dweller. I'm
Mm.
a person
Oh, you
that's
like to
like,
stew and all that crap, huh?
it's not the
Yeah.
stewing. And it comes down to it's a teaching philosophy 101, and it's like a double-edged sword. I'm a fucking optimist. It's so annoying. Oh my God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like when you're in education, you build your career on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like this kid can do it. They should do it. They
Mm-hmm.
would do it. And that, unfortunately, that hopeful, cautious optimism comes out all the time, and it's fucking annoying because when someone disappoints me, I really like it really gets under my skin. It
Mm-hmm.
bothers me. It spirals in my head, and it takes a lot for me to exercise it out because I'm losing the opportunity, or they're losing the opportunity to fulfill their potential purpose, and it irritates me. Like I said, double-edged sword is being an educator. One of the gifts that you have is seeing what people could be. And when they waste it or they do something disgusting, I'm like, ugh, I'm so disappointed in myself sometimes because it's my gift and my sword. It's the one thing that I always want to see the best.
It
And
means you're
when
human and you
yeah,
have a
but
lot
when
of
they
hope in
disappoint me,
others.
I'm the stupid one who's like, Really? You did that? Like, I'm that person. I'm always so shocked,
That's okay.
right? I'm always
Yeah.
so, it's like I live in a Groundhog's Day. That movie, what is
Hmm.
it, Bill Murray? It's like I live in that movie. And every time someone does it, I'm like, and then Mr. Z's like, I love you, but you're super naive sometimes. I'm like, no, I want, human beings to get along and slavery to stop in Congo. And he's like, babe, like, get with it. So part of me annoys. I really admire that, Oz, that you're able to be like, this chapter's done, time to move on, keep it pushing. That person taught me my lesson, and I'm the person who's like, but why did you have to do that? Like, I lament, like
Mm.
I lament, and I hate this part of my process. I hate
I
it
think
so
that's
much.
actually really amazing that you know that about yourself. I know that I'm not really like that. I don't know. I acknowledge the disappointment, but then I go back in it again. It's stupid. We talked about insanity earlier, and that's what I was doing years ago. It's like I see something happening, and I'm just like, oh, it'll get better. It'll get better. Just forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And then it goes on and on, repetitive like that, over and over again, until finally it's just like,
Mm,
ugh. Then I get the real like stab wound, and
yeah,
then I'm sitting there like wondering like, oh, why didn't I listen the first time,
We've all
yeah,
been
Oh, it
there. I
is what
mean,
it
like,
is.
there's something to be said about looking for the good in people and giving people chances. But I think it's different, right? Like when you cross the line of disrespect, like you
sure.
can't. What do
You
they
can't come
say?
back
Like,
from that.
yeah,
Nah,
like you can't. I don't. You can't
unring
undo
a bell.
unring a bell.
Yeah.
And that's the part where we can teeter that line. We can approach it, we can get angry, we can have words, but disrespect is a very clear boundary, right? Like, and besides other people having crossed it with me, I've also crossed it with other people. I have, because again, we learn and we grow and we are not perfect and we're human and we take our L's, and there are people who I have probably hurt in a way because I was immature, because I didn't know how to express myself, because I let my insecurities come out of me. But I've also learned to let them go, right?
Mm,
I did something to hurt them. They decided to move away from me, rightfully so. Even
Hmm.
if I'm a different person now, what I caused them, that pain that I caused them, I take accountability for, and it's
mm,
done. So it's the same, right? If
Yeah.
it's directed towards me. But again, I've not always been this way. It's like a growth curve, it's a learning curve. And look at our age, right? I mean, this is not what we
sure.
thought at all when we were in our 20s or in our 30s. Like, it's not. I think this is natural development for us as we have experienced all these different relationships in our time, and we've gone through loss, right? Like, there's so much life that we've lived that give us the tools to make better decisions. And unfortunately, when it comes back to family, not everyone is as sophisticated
Mm-hmm.
emotionally or
Hmm.
mentally. Not everyone takes it upon themselves to look for the resources and to actively do better and be better. And
There's not
so,
as much self awareness. Lack of self
Yeah.
awareness, horrible. Absolutely horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
On that note,
Well,
I want to say thank you to you ladies for being very vulnerable about our family drama, because it's not easy. And I actually have a book I want to recommend to the listeners. It's called The Happiness Trap by Russ
okay.
Harris.
Hmm.
And it is a really great book that helps you. It gives you some tools with learning how to deal with all of the ups and downs of life. Real tools, like actual tools to help you on a in a cognitive from a cognitive perspective.
Mm,
There's a little bit of meditation involved in there and a bunch of other different practices that it encourages. So I would highly recommend that if you're interested in that, check that book out, The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris. And on that note, we'd love to hear from you listeners about any of your own family drama. Feel free to let us know about the brother that you can't stand, the sister you will never speak to, why you've cut your parents off, why you beat that hoe at the Thanksgiving
Oh,
dinner.
Okay, okay.
That
We better
cousin.
take that out.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
so,
We totally want to hear it, But that being said, we want to thank you for joining us on this
absolutely.
relaunch episode of the Messy Truths podcast. And hopefully we will have an exciting episode the next time, which will be next month, right?
Yes,
Locking
yes,
it
it in right
will.
now.
good.
It's in my
Okay.
calendar.
All right, folks. So I think the biggest lesson we learned today is forgive when you're ready and have some self-awareness, and don't keep doing the same dumbass things over and over and over again and expecting different results, because that is the definition of insanity.
Madness. Absolutely.
Yes.
Insanity.
All right,
right.
folks. Thank
Peace.
you, and see you next time. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.